Tuesday, I don't
know.
I don't know either.
Tuesday maybe?
Tuesday.
Actually, I don't think so. Do you get a lot of trick-or-treaters at your place?
No.
We don't either.
Our block does, but they don't wanna walk up my driveway,
Oh, wow,
so.
too
yeah.
bad, so sad. They don't know what they're missing out on, right?
People do come for a drink, like Tessa will show up.
Well, I think I'm gonna show up.
You can.
We should.
Me to say that right now? Okay, we have some technical difficulty right now while we're getting some people on Zoom.
Good to go. You can
And
have
I
your
think
meeting.
we're set, looks like. So, all right. Okay,
We're good.
Okay. All right, I'd like to call this meeting of October 25th of the Library Board to order. Have you all had a chance to look at the minutes from September 27th?
I would move to approve.
Okay, can I get a second? Okay, we have a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes then. We'll move on to financial reports.
All right. So financial reports are in the packet. Nothing, like always, nothing quite out of the ordinary. We do have the, there's a $5,005 charge in the city register, which is for our Koha hosting through Bywater. So that got taken care of. And I think that was the big stuff. We did pay for the South Dakota Library Association conference. Sierra went on Thursday of the conference, and I went on Friday. We paid for, the library paid for that. We had a couple of, well, we'll talk about donations with the board report, but we had a few donations that are great. The Coding Club grant did finally go through, so we've been purchasing iPads for that. We've got a few more things to buy, a charging station so we can lock them up and keep them charged. So that's good. We'll be going through that pretty quickly, I think, and getting that taken care of. We got the third quarter statement from the Community Foundation, and the balance unfortunately continues to go, well, actually not go down. It's up $7,000 from last year, but still down $16,000 from 2 years ago. So hopefully it'll keep moving up, and we'll be in good shape that way. But based on the way the market's going, I'm wondering if when it's time to either reinvest or take the money out that's earned, if it might be better to take it out and put it in the savings account, since that balance seems to keep going down. Maybe take that money out while we can, or at least the interest that's generated out. But we can revisit that next quarter. I think is when we'll be able to do that. But so that's there. I didn't get I think you guys have the Dunn Trust in the packet. It didn't go out to you because it wasn't linked to the First Interstate account. I wasn't able to access it through our online stuff until, well, that's actually getting processed right now. But the Dunn Trust is things are going well on it. Remember, it'll come up in February. So January meeting, we can go ahead and decide how to reinvest that, and we'll see what interest rates are like at that point. So that's good, and that's I think just about it for the financials, unless anybody has questions about anything.
Any discussion on financials? Do we have approval on that? I'll move to approve. I'll second. All those in favor?
Who moved to approve?
Moved.
Terry? Okay,
Second.
thanks.
All those
And
in
Kathy?
favor?
Okay.
Aye. Any opposed? Aye. Okay. Motion passes then. Moving on to the director's report.
Okay. I think we'll actually start by having Sierra talk about some programming stuff. And yeah, she wasn't able to come the last couple of times because she was busy with Needs and Noodles. But Coding Club starts today, so she's got some time.
Hunter's here from South Dakota School of Mines. He's helping me run the coding program this semester, so I'm super excited about that. I'm not exactly sure what you guys wanted to hear about programming. Do you have any questions?
Maybe how many participants you have in some of the different
Sure.
programs?
Right now, I have 11 kids in coding. Story time averages 8 to 12, and that's both toddler and preschool. Our painting pumpkin party on Friday had 40 people show up, which was amazing. I was super excited about that. But anywhere on average, it's like 12 to 20, and I think that's a great number. My teen programs average 8 to 12, and I think that's a great number for those older middle school and freshman kids. I know a lot of libraries struggle with that age group, and so I feel very lucky to get, you know, the numbers that I do have. Yeah.
Are you seeing the same number of same kids in most of those programs?
No, I mean, story time, I have, you know, the same few, and I watch them grow from toddler to pre-K, and then they're in school. But right now in Coding Club, I have 11 kids. 2 are previous attendees from the coding clubs I've run before. My Needs and Noodles program, I had 2 or 3 that were the same from the last Needs and Noodles program that I ran. One day I had 11 kids, which is a lot. I only have 6 stations, and so they had to team up. They were all new, and I think 2 or 3 of those kids were new to the library at all. They had just heard about the program and wanted to attend, and them telling me, I didn't know that our library was so cool, like just made my heart so happy, and to, you know, see those reactions from kids and to have them go to school and tell their friends how cool the library is and how much fun you can actually have. And it's not just go to the library and read books. I mean, it's not a punishment. It's come and explore, you know, and we do my programming. I want to do more, you know, I want kids to feel that way more often when they're in the library, that they're getting to explore different interests and activities and things like that.
Yeah, you have quite a variety.
I do.
Kids or programs? Both.
Both, yeah, totally, yep.
Is Needs and Noodles the one where you bought the induction?
Yeah, the
Cooktops?
induction cookers
Yeah.
and the pots, yes.
How did that work?
It went amazing. I think 6 is the right amount. Chris and I were discussing that before we bought them, about how many we think we would need, and so we decided we'd start with 6 and see how that went. I think 6 is perfect, because especially when we're doing, I mean, cooking ramen's not difficult, but following a recipe is for kids. I mean, whether they're 8 learning how to cook or if they're 14 learning how to cook, following a recipe is hard, especially because they've never been taught how to do that, is what I'm seeing in the students that I get. So 6 is just the right amount of number. That day that I had 11, it was chaos in that program room, in the kitchen. It all just kind of depends on the program, on what the right number of participants is, really. And I think for coding, 12 is about right. Yeah. I mean, story time, I mean, I could say any number, you know, would be perfect, but honestly, like, who knows what I'm going to get? I could get 3 kids and I could get 30 kids. 30 is too many, but I'll take them, you know, I'll take them. So,
You do an amazing job.
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
for all you do.
I love my programming, so
What
I'm
are
glad
some-
that you enjoy it.
What are some of your plans for the future with programming?
Like, are you asking if I have certain programs in mind?
Yeah.
In December, I want to do a hot cocoa social. I want to start that out with just like teens and kind of do it an after school hot cocoa social, like a hot cocoa bar. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen things like that on the internet, but it's really cool. I did want to bring someone in to do like a short holiday writing workshop, you know, just to kind of give them something to do while they're at the hot cocoa social. But her price is kind of out of my budget right now. I just think it's $300 for a half an hour is too much. So I'm just going to experiment and see what I can come up with to add to the hot cocoa social to, you know, make it a little bit more than just sitting around drinking hot cocoa and making a mess. You know, I want them to be engaged doing something and interacting with their peers a little bit more. So that's something that I'm working on. Sensory Saturday is new. I usually do a tot social once a month on Fridays, and I just put out the rug and the blocks and books, and I turn on an ambience toddler thing on the TV, and it's great. And I put out some snacks, and the kids that come, they really enjoy it, and the parents love that their kids get a little bit of socialization with other children. Sensory Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I really wanted something for the community, for all ages, to come and like be able to decompress a little bit, because I know the holidays are extremely stressful, and especially on kids. So I'll have different sensory stations, so like Play-Doh and the beans, and I'll have a bucket of like
Mashed potatoes.
not something that I gotta clean out of the
Stuffing.
rug.
Leftover turkey.
But yeah, so I'm kind of like figuring that. I have a list at my desk. I didn't bring my list, but I have a list of ideas of things that I want to put out, and kind of holiday themed, but really, really relaxing for those that need to get out, but not, you know, go crazy. Just to get out of their minds a little bit, just come and relax and somewhere just to, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so Sensory Saturday is new, so I'm going to experiment with that a little bit. I know other libraries have had a lot of success doing that, not just with adults, but with younger kids. Adult things are new. So in the last Tuesday of November, November 28th, it's Giving Tuesday. South Dakota Giving Tuesday. I'm doing an adult story time at Sturgis Brewing Company, and it's called Hooters. I've partnered with Black Hills Raptor Center. She's going to bring an owl, Maggie is.
Oh,
And so we're going to like do an adult story time, so that way adults can get an idea what story time is all about, but kind of like more adult friendly. But also I'm going to read a book. I'm going to have a little owl craft, and then we're going to have the owl there, and then we'll be accepting donations for Day of Giving for the campaign. So I'm really excited about that.
yeah.
Also, speaking of Day of Giving, maybe I shouldn't ask you guys right now, but I'm going to. So one of the challenges for South Dakota Gives is to get 100% of your board to donate to your organization. And I know you guys do a lot for the library, but if I could get 100% of the board members to donate to the library, that puts us, that makes the library eligible to win a matching grant from South Dakota Gives. So whatever the total is, like I'm not asking for $1,000 from everybody or anything like that. It's just a donation. And 100% of the board to donate. But they would match. There's a chance that I could win a matching donation. So that's just something that I want to work on you guys on that. So let me know.
When would that need to be? I mean, like when?
You need that.
By the end of the 28th, the end of the day. Because then the next morning I have to input all of my numbers and information from the whole, the campaign started last week for Day of Giving, the South Dakota Gives.
November 28th or October?
Yeah, November 28th, yep. And then we input our numbers the following day, the day after Day of Giving. Like any donations we got, any programs or events, outreach that we did for the campaign. And honestly, my goal isn't just to raise money. I mean, that's always good. Programs cost money. But it's to get the library out in the public. I know a lot of people know about the library, and they know that we do things at the library, but not everybody does, and I don't feel like we're reaching the max capacity of people in our community that we could. And so that's my goal with this campaign, is to reach more people. Let
When
them
is
know
the
that we do more.
Hooters-
Sorry?
When is the Hooters programming?
The 28th,
Oh, that's
November
that is on the
28th.
28th. Okay.
Yep. It'll be at
And
12:30.
you would need to receive by the 28th. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 12:30?
12:30 p.m. Yep. Lunch. They serve food at the brewery, so if you're hungry, if you don't mind a live owl while you eat lunch, a raptor watching you. So
As long as it's watching what I'm eating. And not
yeah. So anyways, that's a
What
lot
day
of
of the
fun.
week is that, do you know?
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
hmm
Too bad you're not
Day
doing it
after
at
Thanksgiving.
night.
I
Yep.
know.
I'm thinking maybe at nighttime you might get more adults,
I know.
but you can't do that.
I mean, I could, but I don't think it would work with Maggie.
Oh,
We just, that time just kind of worked for both of us. So
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Colin's sick.
Sierra, from a needs standpoint, are there anything, are there things, is there anything in particular you need from us or that we could do as a board?
That's a really good question. I could give you a list, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. Prizes, to like prize options or donations for prizes, or if you know somebody that owns a business, to put me in contact with them so I could reach out to them for donations, for prizes, for things that we do. That's something that I struggle with. I mean, I don't struggle asking for donations for prizes for summer reading or events or contests that we run, because I know that our businesses are happy to donate. But I feel like I've only been here a short time, and I feel like I'm running the course with certain businesses, and I'm starting to feel bad. So if you guys know of anybody that I might not know, or that just hasn't donated in a while or something like that, just throw their name at me or mention the library to them next time you see them. Yeah, that would be great, actually. That's probably number one on my list. For sure. Otherwise, I could get you a list of other things later.
Would like gift cards work? Like if you
Gift
buy
cards are great, yes.
McDonald's or Taco John's
Absolutely. Yeah.
or Subway or someplace.
Yeah, gift cards go for all ages, so that's great. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. You're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
are doing a lot.
Proud of
Thank
you.
you so
Fantastic.
much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
Anything else? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You guys know where to find me. I'm going to go catch up with Coding Club. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Sierra.
you.
All right. Yeah, we are, we're definitely lucky to have her just jumping in and taking the reins on programming. And the numbers are really good as far as what we get. I mean, we're at almost 2,500 youth attendees so far this year, which is not bad. That's great. Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have? Talking about donations, I mentioned that in the financials. We got a couple of $10 donations for a couple of people that passed recently. One, Eleanor Miller, so that money will go into the Ernie Miller Fund. We had a woman come in and she wanted an ebook. And she said, the series is great. I read the first couple, but that's all you have on Libby. Can I pay you to get more? And I said, well, we can order more books. Don't worry about it. But I really want to. I like the library. I really want to give you guys something. So she gave us $50 to go toward buying books for Libby. So yeah, in fact, I got those ordered today. So that was kind of cool. She's like, I could buy it myself, but I just soon let everybody else read it too. So, so I went in on the consortium and purchased those today. Like I said, we got the coding club grant, which was $4,000. We raised $4,000 and then got that matched. So that will cover the cost of 13 iPads and a charging station, and I'm not sure what else. Maybe some apps for the iPads if we need them for coding in the future is probably where the rest of that will go. The quilt show was still going on up through Friday. The quilts come down on Saturday, so if you haven't looked at it and voted on your favorites, do that. Buy a raffle ticket for the quilt that we're raffling off, and that'd be great. Next month is the Black Hills Art Association. They'll have stuff up. Hopefully next week they'll be putting stuff up. I'm not sure when they're scheduled to do that. We had, as far as meetings, it's all pretty much the regular groups and programming, the regular programming. We did some solar eclipse stuff. And during the eclipse, Donia was at City Park and had a lot of people come by and use the eclipse classes that we had, and we have also had this thing that I forget what it's called, but it basically shows the eclipse on paper, and it's all pretty cool thing. And anyway, so that turned out to be really popular. And what else? I guess nothing else out of the ordinary, but yeah, so that was good. Facilities in pretty good shape. There was a valve in the radiator in the community room that was stuck open, and that got fixed the other morning. He stopped in and took care of that. There's a ballast in the lights in the study room that will need to be replaced at some point. I think instead of putting LEDs in there, we'll just get the ballast fixed for the time being. The courier service is slowly getting better. There's still some questions that the state library has and we have that we're not getting answers to. We think that they're transferring materials in Rapid when they pick them up in the area. Like if they pick something up from Sturgis and it needs to go to Spearfish, it gets sorted in Rapid, maybe, but it may actually get thrown on a truck and sent to Sioux Falls and get sorted and come back. Nobody will tell anybody what exactly is going on. So we're a little confused about that. They're showing up a little bit more often. There are a couple of things that we're going to try to increase the efficiency. Minitex, who's in charge of all this, they're not the local courier, but they're in charge of it. They want us to zip tie the bins closed, because what happens is if the delivery guy comes and there's only one box or only one book in the box, they'll often just take that out and throw it in another one. So if there's only one thing going to lead, he'll take it and put it either in the Spearfish box or put it in the Rapid City box, and then it's a bigger deal. It may end up someplace else and then has to get there. So if we zip tie them shut, then they can't do that. The downside to that is if they don't have room in the van for all of the totes, then they leave some behind. So we're working on that. And there's still some options, but hopefully that as time goes on will get worked out. We have a form that gets sent to the state library every time there's a delivery or not a delivery, and then that gets passed on to Minitex. And in fact, the guy from Minitex was out a few weeks ago, I guess, and said, yeah, we're letting the courier service know that when we get their bill and they're charging us for a delivery that they didn't make, we're calling them on it and saying, well, you need to take all this mileage off the bill because you didn't make the delivery. And yeah, so anyway, getting better, still has room for improvement. I haven't heard about replacing the book sale shelves yet in the lobby. The digital literacy grant money, I've got classes scheduled. So we'll be doing those Monday mornings for the next, well, throughout November and December. I'm also getting in touch with rural schools to see if they want to host some of these trainings. And I talked to Megan, the librarian at Piedmont, to see if they would be interested in hosting some, and then we can take our equipment over there and do it as well. So it won't just be here. I'll also talk to the senior center and Aspen Grove and see if they would like us to stop by with equipment and do some stuff. So hopefully we'll get a number of people involved in these classes and improve the digital literacy of the community, which would be great. What else? Talked about that. A couple weeks ago, the South Dakota State Library had a regional training here. They did one in the spring as well, and they've decided that we are a great location for these trainings because people can come from the region, and it's a great place for them to set up and do the workshop. So in the future, they would like twice a year to come to Sturgis to do the trainings, which is great. The one they did this time around was on policies and procedures, and Cricket and Lance and I attended, and I think there was some good stuff. Lance, do you want to share any of the ideas?
Fantastic, Chris, and I think that would be wonderful if they use the community room.
Yeah, I think that's the
it's
plan right now, is that that's the way they'll do it.
No, very, very
Yeah.
good class, and I would encourage anyone to attend those. It was very good information.
Yeah. I think one of the interesting things that came up is some changes to policies that Vermilion made concerning their collection policy. And some of that we have in our policies or similar wording, but things that you have to be a patron to request a book review, and that if a book is reviewed, it can't be reviewed again for 3 years. So they're kind of looking ahead at potential issues.
Goes through the whole process and is still deemed appropriate. That book is.
Good for 3 years, I think is how Vermilion has it set up. Yeah, and it's just to keep from kind of unnecessarily tying up the system. So anyway, and then also making your policies, I don't want to say friendlier, but maybe so it doesn't seem like a punitive set of rules, which I think ours is pretty neutral in its tone, but that's something we can look at as we go through and do our periodic reviews of those. So I think that was pretty good.
Definitely, and a great networking opportunity with the other libraries in the area.
We had Hill City and Bison and Lemon and
Piedmont,
and who else was there?
Hot Springs.
Yes, Hot Springs librarian was there, and Custer wasn't there. I think they were going to show up but weren't able to.
That sounds right.
Yeah, so it was so that was good. Last week we had the consortium quarterly meeting. Everything's good with that. We've got one more check I'm waiting on, and then we can send the payment off to Koha for the hosting. We're working on aligning some of the cataloging so that right now every library catalogs things just a little bit different in certain areas. We're working on streamlining that so it's all the same, while still allowing each library the ability, some freedom to do things how they want, but it should make it easier for patrons to find things. And also Rapid City has applied for a grant. So if they get approved, then they can apply for the grant to study reciprocity throughout the consortium. So if they get the grant, then we will look at what it would take to have every library in the consortium have reciprocal borrowing privileges. And that kind of goes along with the cataloging. That would have to change a little bit. Funding would be a potential issue. So if they get the grant over the next 18 months, we would be looking at whether that's a possibility and what steps we would need to take to do that, if that's something that was feasible. So that could be interesting. It could be really helpful. Because kind of related to that, you guys have a map in your packet. And this is the area, as far as reciprocal borrowing with Rapid City, it's only for people with a Sturgis address as well as people in this area that I have marked on the map. So it's basically north of Rapid, Ellsworth, Box Elder, and then you can see there's a little neighborhood up north on Haynes Avenue that's part of it. Anything outside of that is not reciprocal borrowing. So Blackhawk, Somerset, they don't have reciprocal borrowing with the library in Rapid. There are some things that they can do to borrow without having the book sent to Sturgis. But at any rate, that's the boundary that Rapid City allows that. And if you have a Sturgis address, then you can check books out from there. So if people ask, because people do come in and ask about that quite often, especially from Blackhawk, and we have to say, well, yeah, you can't use our card there. But you can go to Piedmont, you can go, so you don't have to come all the way to Sturgis. And a lot of them do have a Piedmont card, but anyway, so that's been clarified recently. And what else? There's a new delivery system for ebooks that I'm looking into. It's called the Palace Project, and it's basically a different version of Libby. Libby works only with books that you buy from Overdrive. The Palace Project works with ebooks and audiobooks that you would purchase from a bunch of different places. Baker and Taylor, which is who we get most of our books from. If we bought ebooks from them, our patrons could access it. If you buy ebooks or audiobooks from Amazon, those would work as well. So it's free. I don't necessarily, I'm exploring it now to see if it's something that we want to look into in the future, to use instead of Libby. I guess maybe in addition to Libby, but I think having both those platforms might be a little confusing. So if it's something that looked like it would be worthwhile. Right now we get everything from Overdrive, so it's not necessary. But if there's something that's published independently through Amazon or another place that Overdrive doesn't have, then this would be a way that the consortium could purchase it and our patrons could look at it. And they also have a number of free books. Anything that's public domain, they have up there that you can check out. I'm not sure Libby does that, but anyway, so that's something that's kind of interesting. And one of the reasons it came up is, I looked into it, and then you start looking at prices, and let me show you what I'm talking about. It'll hopefully pop up there. Yeah. And I can show you prices, and this is the big issue with ebooks. So, for example, the Lincoln Highway, we can buy it for $21.90. To get it as an ebook, it's $55, so it's an 83% markup. It's also only good for a limited number of checkouts. And you can see, here's a Colleen Hoover book that's actually $65 versus the $10 for print. So it's expensive. The Lightning Thief, which is a teen book, we can get it for $5.96. The ebook is $17.99. It's only good for 26 checkouts. So
And after that has to be repaid.
and then you have to purchase it again if you want to hold on to it. So the issue, and this is one of the, libraries all over the place are dealing with this. So if you look down here, so Fahrenheit 451, you can actually buy a 2-year license to the book for $52. So they show you here that The person that put this together bought it 12 years ago for $23. So for 12 years, an ebook would cost $311 rather than $23. So that's 1,200% more. So it's an issue that the Palace Project, which put this together, is interested in bringing costs down. They're interested in offering different opportunities. Now, a lot of this is set by the publisher, so without the publishers changing things, it's not going to change much. But it's something that, as libraries are moving more and more toward ebooks, it's a bigger concern because you get a lot less bang for your buck. Now, not all books are like that. In fact, the ones that I just purchased, that the woman gave us the money for, those are actually in perpetuity. It's a lesser known author, and it's like $8 for the book, and it's unlimited. So we purchased that. It'll be in Libby forever. And there are some books like that.
So is 6 the amount of checkouts that are normal for a?
26 is low. Usually they're 40,
Oh,
or they're per year, like this. You know, a 2-year license for some of these. So every 2 years you have to repurchase the book if you want to keep the ebook in your library.
Is audiobook the same?
Audiobooks are even more expensive.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I was assuming, but like, so that's even.
Yeah, you're looking
same
at
thing, whereas it's only good for so many,
usually.
or can you
Well,
purchase the
see, they're all
audiobook?
different because each publisher gets to set up the criteria. More popular books would be a set number, ebook or audiobooks would be a set number of checkouts. Some are per year. Some are unlimited simultaneous use. So as many people check them out at a time, which would be like a new, and that's a whole different price. So if it's a book that you think is something that everybody's going to want to read it, and then it'll fall off the bestseller list and it'll be out of the way, that would be a way to do it. You buy the simultaneous checkouts, everybody gets it out of their system, and then when it's done, it's done. It's just there are a lot of different options, and so part of the job that we have in curating that collection is deciding what options are available, what options do we want, what options can we afford. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's it's something that we're still working on, and nobody really has a good answer for it yet. But this is, so our ebook budget is going to have to get a lot bigger, I think, if we're continuing to see. Right now, about 1/3 of our use is ebooks. So if that continues to grow, then we'll have to kind of adjust and see how that goes. So anyway, all that's kind of related to this Palace project, which I'm like I said, I'm exploring more. I mentioned it in the consortium meeting, and nobody else was aware of it, but they all thought it might have some potential. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Let's see, what else do we have? Turn that. You talked about, or I had talked about Medici TV and Canopy. I haven't gotten to it. I've just started working with them to set up the idea. I think what would be more successful than a questionnaire would be having the demonstration going on while we were advertising it, and then having people fill out something after they used it, and then we can look at numbers and be spreading the word and say, this is out there now, try to use it. So working with that, hopefully by the end of November, we'll have it up and running, and then we'll see how that goes. And we already talked about that. So that's it for the board report.
Okay, any unfinished business?
We have second readings of the policies. And we separated them out by non-substantive and substantive. So nothing has changed from the last reading. that was approved.
Was it mainly just grammatical changes and?
The first one, the grammar changes, yes, it was just cleaning up the language. And that was for,
Art displays?
yeah, art gallery, behavior policy, computer use policy, fax policy, and social media policy. Those 5 policies had grammatical changes only. And like I said, no changes from the last reading.
So this would be the final?
This would be the final, yes, this would be the,
Are we just looking for a motion to?
basically, yeah, unless somebody has an issue with anything that they wanna talk about some more.
I move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes then.
okay, and then the second set were changes that we made for genealogy, equipment, and library card holder policy. And those were more substantial changes, setting basically child and adult card ages, unifying overdue fines for equipment and hotspots, card eligibility, and getting rid of the temporary rally card. Yeah, those were the big changes. Adding to the fee we may charge if we do a lot of genealogical research for someone, instead of $5, we up that to 10. We typically don't charge, but it's there in the policy in case we need to.
Chris, have there been any changes since the first reading?
No. Nope, this one's the same as well.
I'll move to approve the genealogy, equipment, and library card holder policies.
Okay.
Final reading.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, then the policies for genealogy, equipment, and library card holder pass. Okay. Then I think we move on, don't we, to new business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the only thing new I have is the holiday schedule for 2024. Basically the same as this year. The only difference, I think, is Christmas was on a Monday, or is on a Monday this year, so next year it'll be Tuesday, so that would give us the 24th, or it's on a Wednesday, sorry. So we would have Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve off, instead of, well, it being closed or working. Yeah. During Rally Week, we're open the Friday that is the first official day of Rally, and then we would be closed from Saturday through the next Saturday.
I guess I would ask the board to approve Juneteenth if they move it to the Monday. Like sometimes that moves, that Juneteenth holiday is observed the first Monday. So I don't know what they're
I looked at the state.
Okay, so that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, that's how it's listed on the state
Okay.
holiday.
Because I thought the federal
So,
moved to the Monday, so that's why I was.
Yeah, not with that one. I didn't notice.
Okay, no, perfect.
That's,
I was just gonna say if it's weird.
if it did, well, if it does, then we can look at that. But yeah, I looked at the South Dakota holiday schedule, state holiday schedule for all these dates.
move to approve.
I have a second.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the holiday schedule then passes.
All right.
Okay.
And that's all I've got.
Do we need executive session?
I don't.
That merch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's from the digital literacy grant for advertising. Yeah.
Okay. So, we need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, you're adjourned.